So, okay, I'm here with Michael. Michael works in retail, and he is also about to become a father. So, congratulations for
Thank
that.
you.
And I know you are happy about that.
Definitely.
Um,
Everything's working correctly.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Michael is, and I'm never quite sure how to say this, as I explained to you earlier, is I don't like to say experienced with mental health issues because that sounds like it's an achievement, a positive.
Here's a medal. You're very
well.
Yeah.
But you've dealt with your own mental health issues,
Yes.
and you're on your own mental health journey. So you're well equipped to talk about these things. So just for everyone, what mental health issues have you experienced? Do you experience yourself?
Well, recently I've been diagnosed with depression earlier this year, which I'm now on tablets for. Post-traumatic stress from a good 7 years ago, from when my grandfather died.
Okay.
People might say, "Oh, that's not really traumatic," but when you're witnessing someone you love die,
No, it can be, definitely.
it's one of the hardest things to deal with and cope with. Social anxiety is also another one that I struggle with.
Yeah.
I don't really like people. Yeah, I work in retail.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is always fun and games.
Yeah.
How can I take your bags? Go away.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do those things, thinking both short term and long term, what do those things, how do they, I mean, let's start with short term, like when you're in the moment.
Oh,
how does it?
It's terrible because, I mean, sometimes, when you can't sleep because you're either overthinking things or you're thinking about the traumatic experiences that you've had. So therefore you can't sleep, you don't eat, don't look after yourself very well. I don't really look after myself in general. I mean, like shower, shave. Yeah, as you can tell. A bit potty there. But no, short term it's not the best because you don't really look after yourself. You let things go, like doing jobs that you should really do every day, and you struggle. Long term, you start getting better, and it's more, for me, it's like lack of sleep because you're still overthinking, not as much as you used to, but you still have the odd day where you overthink. Still the odd day where you think about those traumatic days and you think, how do you get over it? And you think, oh, how would this person, or what could we have done differently to help you in that respect?
Yeah, definitely. I suppose in that way it's similar to like having a broken leg. Like
Yes.
Some days you probably don't even notice it after you've had it for a while. And some days it's all you notice, sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I certainly know I've got some family members who suddenly, years and years after another family member has died, have kind of broken down. So clearly there was something.
Yeah, it seems like
they were hanging on to.
They were taking
long term.
They're taking everyone's stress and trying to make sure that everyone else is okay before they looked after themselves, which I did last year.
Yeah.
So I do know that one quite well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is not fun.
Yeah, no, not at all. So are there, I mean, you've mentioned a few actually, but are there any day-to-day sort of triggers that sort of switch you into a bad place?
It could be just a bad person, like someone speaking down to you and could set you off and you start thinking, am I worthless? It could be anything from, I don't know, just a car journey. I mean, you're driving along, someone pips at you, you should have indicated when you should have, and you go, Christ, what am I doing? Why am I in control of this when I can't even control myself? Personal experience for me was, and this is a daft one, I laugh at it now, but I made a mistake on the lottery machine.
At work?
Yeah. I just went around the counter, but no, I made a mistake. Chap wanted only 5 lucky dips. I gave him 10. He said he would still have them, but as soon as I sold it him, I had to get someone to take me off the till. And I broke down because it's like, normally I'm really good at this. What's going off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, why am I feeling like this? It's not natural for me to. Well, for me anyway, it's not natural for me to break down over something like that. Because it's like, hey, we've made money, you know, and it's like, all of a sudden I'm like, why have I made that mistake? That's not right. And then I got very emotional very quickly, and it was like, right, something's not going right here. What's going off?
Yeah.
And
that's interesting because it is a trigger. It was a trigger for you to, but it was a trigger for you to probably get worse than you already were. So you probably weren't aware, or weren't fully aware that you were potentially in quite a bad place as it was, and then something kind of did that for you, so you could say that you did know. I think that sometimes can be true. I think certainly for me, I don't always know, which is weird. It seems weird to say, but I sometimes don't always know that I'm in a bad place.
Yeah.
Or
you think you're in a good mood, or you think you're in a good place, and just one mistake, and you're like, what's gone off? Yeah. And you start right back at the beginning again, and you think,
And that is the problem, isn't it? Sometimes just something small can, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, you were at 2, or something, you've worked up to 8.
And then next thing you're like,
something,
then you're at 15.
You're
completely off the rails.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Are there any behavioural in yourself signs that you are, I mean, that leads on quite nicely, that you are not in a good place and you need to either sort something out or it's going to escalate?
Yeah, I mean, I get very emotional anyway, which is quite annoying, especially when you're something serious. I tend to break down quite easily, but no, I tend to get a bit more argumentative, angry a lot easier than normal. Normally it takes quite a while for me to get annoyed, and the next thing you know, I'm there. It's like, well, I'm really annoyed and I don't know why. Start arguing with people. Sarcasm for me is also quite. I get a lot more sarcastic with people. You know, if you ask a daft question, I'm going to give you a really stupid answer.
Yeah, sure.
You know, how are you feeling? Well, I feel all left. What do you mean you feel all left? Well, if I felt all right, I'd be all right, wouldn't I?
Yeah, sure.
Don't give me a silly answer. Don't give me a silly question. You know, I mean, there's quite a few. There's that and a few other things. It's like, I just get very emotional, get very agitated very quickly, argumentative, very loud, and then 9 times out of 10 after that, I start going very slow.
Okay. Yeah. And is there anything that you think, when you're in that space, as it were, is there anything that's helpful, specifically, or
at the time, best thing to do is just let me go off and just cool down.
Yeah.
So if it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, it could be anywhere from like that. Just be by my tard, just thinking, what's just gone off? How could we have done that better? If I'm at home, I write down. I write in my little journal. Which I must admit, I need to get another one. That's how many good days I've had. So yes, but I write down quite a bit. So it's like, and then I can look back at it and go, oh, well, I could have done this differently. Why didn't I do it? You know, I'm intelligent enough to do it. Why didn't I do it?
Yeah.
Talking to my partner, it is quite hard to do, but it's because I don't want to stress her out with my everyday stuff when she's got her own stuff, and at the moment being pregnant, I don't want to overstress her enough, and it's like, but if I don't talk to her, she starts stressing anyway, so it's like, it's catch-22, so you start feeling like, oh, do I, don't I? Because if you don't, she's going to stress. If I do, I feel like I'm stressing her out because I'm talking about things going off in my life that, not that she can't help with, but or deal with. It's just like, sometimes she can't comprehend how I'm coming across.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, it is difficult. And what I'm going to say next is a difficult one. very difficult one. And it's how do you think sort of friends, close friends and family, are they helpful or not helpful? And for me, this is an interesting question, because definitely, generally speaking, obviously close friends and family and stuff and their support is definitely a good thing, and it definitely does help you. I don't want to...
No, definitely.
Yeah, I don't want to, take
Bad
away
mouth
from
anyone,
that.
yeah.
I don't want to take away from that. But I feel like sometimes, and I'll give a specific example. In 2014, I had a very bad episode with depression.
Yeah.
And, I had to take time off work and all that sort of thing. And I found that family and friends were very supportive. Like I say, I don't want to
knock them.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But very specifically, after about 3 or 4 days, 5 days even, of having lots of phone calls and having to explain everything and start from the beginning with everyone and go through the whole thing, of what happened on that particular thing, what I thought about it, what help I was getting, all that kind of thing. I kind of thought, right, I apologise everyone, but from now on, anyone who rings me, because there were still some people left, anyone who rings me and talks to me, I'm going to say, don't take this the wrong way, but I've been talking about it loads.
I don't want to carry on.
And I don't want to keep talking about it. I want to...
You want to move on
that,
from it.
because that keeps me there.
Yeah.
And I want to
move
progress.
Forward.
Yeah, exactly. And so it had been a week since it had happened, and someone phoned me, bless them, a family member, and they were very supportive and what have you. But I actually said this to them at the beginning of the conversation. I don't want to... no offence, I will talk about it with you at some point, probably. Yeah. But
it's not right.
I explained to them, I've had about 20 phone calls, and I've had to explain the whole thing, and it keeps me there, and I want to move on, etc. And they did say, yeah, I understand that. But then, by the end of the conversation, because of them, I had gone through the whole thing. I had to go through the whole thing again. And what have you, and listen to their advice, and all that kind of thing. I'd said at the beginning of the conversation, I didn't want to do that anymore. So that wasn't as best of intentions, and I love them and bless them, but that wasn't helpful.
No.
See what I mean? And so
it's
I don't know. That's my story.
Too much of good is bad in that respect.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you?
It depends on the friends and family.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on, like, say, if the person's going to be supportive. I mean, I've got quite a load of supportive friends that, but I mean, and family, don't get me wrong, but I mean, that I've either known someone that's gone through it or something along the lines that's similar to me, even though everyone's individually different. It's quite hard because, say, a lot of them, they are very, very supportive, they are very caring, they want to make sure you're okay, but like you say, it's constant phone calls, the constant, are you okay, this, that and the other, and it's like, yeah, I'm alright, but I don't want to keep bringing it up because, like I say, I want to move on. Then there's certain family members or friends that I've not really dealt with like anything like that, and they'll be like, or you just need to get on with it, you need to, take it on the chin. We didn't have that in my day, and it's like, well, back in that day, it was shell shock, or whatever you want to call it, and it's like they do understand, but they don't. I think they're so set in their ways, or they've been brought up in a different environment and different generation to what to me being brought up. It's a bit difficult when, like, they're saying, oh, you need to get over yourself, or you're playing on things, or or you're just using it as an excuse, and it's like, and it makes you just feel like, thanks for that. But I mean, like I said, the supportive friends and family are fantastic. Like I say, phone calls, and like I say, constantly asking, are you okay? Yeah, too much of it is bad, I think, in my personal experience as well. It's not just me on that one, I don't think.
Yeah. I think definitely they need to listen to what you're saying. Like I said in my example,
Someone do tend to turn a deaf ear on you. It's like, oh,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
but if you help me with this, well, if you listen to my advice, your advice has got me here. It's not getting me any further. What advice are you going to give me now?
Yeah, exactly. I think the best advice anyone can give you is we will listen to you and support you, which is good. Obviously, what you need to do is go and see your GP.
Yeah.
For a start.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then accept
or find some mental health groups. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about that, moving on from that, how do you have you used any sort of mental health support networks or things like that? And how have they been?
Yeah, I've used quite a few. I mean, like the one with work, which is really, really good. I ring them up probably once every 2 weeks now if I'm feeling a bit bad, feeling a bit down.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'm constantly in contact with them. Samaritans was a good one when I was really down.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. And, they weren't pushy. They were like, how are you today? What made you feel like this? This, you're not planning on hurting yourself or anything like that. No. Went to my GPs again, same questions. Are you thinking about hurting yourself? No. Have you thought about killing yourself? No. The only issue is, they're quite quick to give people tablets, I think.
Yeah.
Instead of why most people want to go to the doctors about mental health is to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And they seem to be the quick fix is some tablets.
Yeah.
See you in 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think tablets help control the situation.
Yes.
But they don't deal with the situation beyond
it's
that.
just sweeping it under the rug.
Yes.
It's not helpful at all. I mean, when I went to the GPs, they were like, here's some tablets. The waiting list to see someone is about 8 months. And it's like, it's like, really, the main reason why I've come to you is and I even said to the GP, I don't want tablets. Because I've had friends who've been on antidepressants and they've made them feel worse. It doesn't help when you read, the side effects. Oh, suicidal thoughts is a great one. You just kind of look at it and go, gee, thanks. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna hang myself. You may as well just cut to the chase. But all I want to do is to talk to someone who's qualified in that area.
Yeah.
I get the NHS is strained and you can't get to see people straight away, and I appreciate that. But when you've got someone who's seriously, it's hard enough to take the first step and go to a doctor to be told, oh, here's some tablets, and no one can see you for at least 8 months. You kind of feel like, what's the point? You're asking for help, and it feels like no one's helping you. You just feel like, oh, here's like I say, here's the tablets, get on with it.
Yeah.
And deal with it.
Definitely. For me, my experience was going back some years. I went to the doctor. I went on tablets. When I asked for counselling therapy, I was put on a waiting list, and this was about March. And I eventually had my first session. I think I had 8 sessions in total. My first session in November.
Oof.
Now, the thing about that was, not only was it a long wait, but I'd actually worked through a load of stuff by then and was actually in quite a good place.
Yes, by the time.
So I was talking to the counsellor. It was kind of like, why are we here?
Like a waste of time.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
And it finished after, I think the maximum was 12. I don't know why there was a maximum, but there was. I think the maximum was 12, and she stopped it after 8 because everything was fine. And the worst thing was, fast forward another year, at that point I could have done with it again.
Yeah.
But I'd have had to start again.
Yeah.
At that point I was told on the waiting list, so it might be another 8 months. So I didn't bother.
Yeah, it's an off-putting thing, especially when you realised you need help, and then just be kind of told you're gonna have to wait.
Waiting list is.
And I get there's other people. There's always going to be someone worse off, and I get that. But you think at the same time, I'm struggling. Who knows if I'm going to be here in 8 months? I need the help now. And,
yeah, definitely.
And I appreciate, like I say, I appreciate the NHS for what they do, and I get it's strained anyway. And it's like, it just feels like 2 fingers. Someone who's got mental health issues, and it's like, well, what's the point of trying they're just going to keep giving you tablets and say, well, see you in 8 months.
Yeah. And that's a message for our government. We need to sort this. It's a serious thing.
I'm saying no comment.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So you're in, as we've discussed, you're in retail, you're in employment.
Yep.
How do you find that generally when you are going through a bit of a bad time mental health wise?
Very stressful.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed tends to come to mind very quickly because, as you know, in retail you are pulled left, right and centre anyway.
Yeah.
And that's when you're feeling good, let alone when you're feeling bad, it feels 10 times worse. And then when you get your busy periods, like you say, summertime, you got people coming for barbecues, beer. Christmas time is always a fun time.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're struggling then, God help you. I mean, you feel like you're being pulled every direction, but you're not moving. You just can't. You feel like you're in 100 places at once, but you can't seem to do anything right. And it's quite a stressful, like I say, stressful for me because I struggle. Because I feel like I'm trying to help the team or I'm trying to help members of staff, and I feel like if I'm having a bad day, I'm feeling like I'm letting them down. I'm constantly apologising to people, saying, look, sorry I didn't get this done, or I'm sorry I didn't get that done, even though the job's been done. I'm sorry it's not good enough, or sorry I've kept calling you to the till, I feel like I've let you down. Because we've all got our own stuff to do and everyone's got their own issues to deal with, and it's like, I don't want to add to anyone else's stress.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really want anyone adding to my stress.
No, of course. Yeah.
And when you're in work, you kind of can't help being stressed because obviously there's all sorts going through people's heads. Like, is there going to be enough hours for me next week? Is there going to be a job for me next week? Not just generally me, but I mean anyone with mental illness. They'll be like, well, if they've heard redundancy or layoffs, they're going to start freaking out, going, well, is it going to be me? Is it going to be this person? Then it's like, how's it going to affect me again? It's just like a domino effect. Yeah,
definitely. The working environment is a bad environment at the moment, and that probably, I mean, we don't know because we don't experience it, but it's probably, retail's probably very bad, but it's probably beyond that.
Yes.
Even in an office job.
For
a start, you're quite isolated, which means you're with your own thoughts
all day,
and you probably have those same problems of redundancies and
layoffs,
and as well.
Not a fun place.
So my next question was, but I think we've kind of answered it, is about the working environment, and do you think our society and the working environment is well equipped for people with mental health problems? And like I said, we've already
I can say
clearly
without a shadow of a doubt, not even close.
No.
The stigma that comes with mental health is horrible because, like I say, it's like, oh, there's something not wrong with, something not right with him or her or whatever. Something is not right, and it's like then you kind of get ostracised, and you're not like the first. You feel like you're in the firing line to everyone's jokes because you are suffering, and it's like then when something happens to that person, it's like, well, they should have talked, or they should have talked, and done something about it. It's like, well, hang on, if you were there for me when I needed the help, and didn't give me all the stick, the stigma shouldn't be there. We should be embracing these people, not discouraging them to go talk to someone, deal with their issues. We should be helping them every step of the way and going, even if you don't know them, it's like, look, you might be struggling. I'm always here to give you a helping hand. If everyone helped each other, we'd be in a better place.
Absolutely. I think some companies that employ people do try, but they're nowhere there yet.
Like you just said then, they try.
They try, yeah.
But they don't necessarily follow through.
It should just be, definitely. And there's a phrase I use, which I think I may have coined, but if anyone wants to contradict me on that and say it was theirs, and that is, I call it New Year's resolution syndrome. I'm not sure the syndrome is actually the right word, thinking about it now, but New Year's resolution syndrome, where basically a company will come up with a policy
Yeah.
what have you. And the policy on paper will be very, very good, be brilliant. You'll read it and you'll think that's amazing. But I'm talking about mental health policy. But in reality, in practice, that isn't necessarily, not every manager or team member adheres to that policy. No. And it doesn't, the policy, you know, it's a head office, as it were, policy, and it doesn't really escalate down.
It doesn't trickle down
necessarily. And yeah, I call that like a New Year's resolution kind of thing, where you say, yeah, I'm gonna exercise more this year or whatever, and by the 2nd of January,
yeah, it's gone.
You know, it's gone.
I'm gonna quit smoking. Oh, there's another pack.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and I think that's kind of, there's a lot of lip service paid to mental health, not just in companies, in society in general, actually, that isn't actually in practice followed through.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, and that's something we need to work on. So I don't like to ask you this, but I will. What would you say has been in your life your worst mental health experience, and what were the depths you got to, and afterwards how did you kind of get out of that so that you're still sitting here today?
Well, I think it goes a good 7 or 8 years ago, when my grandfather died with cancer. I was there when he died, and I had to deal with everything. So he collapsed. I had to pick him up, help him to the sofa. Telling my brother to ring my mum. My grand's obviously ringing the doctors at this point. With him bringing up blood, we tell he hadn't got long left. Bearing in mind, I'm being spat up blood upon myself in that respect from what's happening. Having to hold his chest, ring obviously the operator on the emergency service, which, don't get me wrong, did absolutely fantastic on the day, but obviously in that time you kind of say, get your backsides here. I need help. To be saying you need to do CPR when, you know, someone's got terminal cancer and has a DNR in place, to be told you could be liable for his death is, at the time I didn't care. It was like, do it, I don't give a rat's backside, you know. I just need someone to help me now, because I'm on my own. Even though I had 2 other people in the house, you know, but I had my brother in and out screaming, trying to tell him to calm down. My gran coming in, telling her to sit down so I didn't have to deal with her. But then having to deal with my granddad passing away, and then walking home covered in blood, with all my granddad's friends seeing me that day, going, "Oh, how's your granddad? How's your dad?" You know, that respect. And it's like, "Oh, he's all right. He's just died." You know, I mean, how do you respond to it? I mean, I'm covered in blood, for God's sake. What do you want me to say? And that put me into a very, very dark place where I was drinking heavily most nights, just so I could sleep. More than anything, not to get drunk or anything like that. It was just to get me to sleep. It might have been half a bottle of whiskey. It might have been a bit more.
Sort of numb the pain.
Just
sort of thing, yeah.
So it was like, just to help me, if anything, just to sleep, to get through to the next day, to get on with what I need to do then. And it would just be a continual cycle. I think it was a continual cycle for about 6 months of heavy drinking. Bear in mind working as well, which was always fun, going in a bit still hungover, and maybe still a bit tipsy. But what was that? Pause. But no, I mean, for a good couple of years, I struggled to sleep, because I couldn't. Every time I fell asleep, I saw that day, constantly replaying in my head. Once the event's finished, even though I was still asleep, it would rewind itself, and then it would be like, what could I have done differently? If I'd done this differently, could he have not still been here, but could it have been more peaceful? Could it have been more at ease for everyone involved? But it didn't. I started getting better sleep, started to deal with it better once I met my partner, who's an absolute godsend. She's helped me through some very dark times. Again, last year, we lost my nephew. We lost our baby 6 weeks prior to losing my nephew. So it was like losing my granddad, dad, whatever, all over again. So it was like I was up here going down, then started coming back, and then it's just done it again. And it was like, so I took on everyone else's stress, everyone's shock, everyone else's grief. Whereas I wasn't grieving, I was dealing with everyone else, trying to keep myself active.
Yeah.
And that time when my nephew died, and I started. So I didn't go to drink this time. I went to smoking, and I said I'd never touched a cigarette in my life. And it's been near enough 2 years now since I've been smoking, from when my nephew stopped breathing in the middle of the night. And unfortunately I'm coming off. I'm quitting, which is good. Let's say that's not New Year's syndrome. But It's one of those where we're getting there slowly. It's always a progress. Nothing in life's easy in that respect. It'll be worth. If everything was easy, it won't be worth it. In that respect. Yeah, I mean, you do have to take the hard road to get somewhere in life, and that's where we need to be, and that's how I have to see it as.
I suppose on the spectrum, if we didn't have very bad times,
you couldn't see the good.
We wouldn't have very good times.
You have to see the dark, to see the light.
Just be a plateau, or whatever the word is. Yeah. So, to end on a positive note, what achievements have you achieved? That's a very bad sentence. But, in spite of mental health issues.
Well, a few years ago I joined a disability football team, Sherwood Colliery. At the time was Mansfield Town. So I'm part of one of the biggest. I think we are the biggest club in Nottinghamshire. We have over 60 players, but all have physical, mental disabilities. So we've won countless leagues, we've won countless tournaments. People's Cup runner-up in 2016, which I was really proud of because I was part of that team. Then, like I say, we've got my partner playing in the same team, so which is always fun to play with your partner. In football, because she does some really nasty tackles on me. I can't touch her, which is annoying.
Sure. Double standard.
We fought for equal rights, and I can't touch you. Great. But no, playing football, like I say, being part of one of the biggest clubs in the country or in the county, and then fairly recently saying we're about to become a father. So that's another very, very proud achievement. I'm happy to say.
That's great.
Seeing as we're so close now.
And final question. I don't like to use the word tips, but do you have any mental health tips? Do you have anything? So it's not, the reason I don't like the word tips is because I don't think we should advise, if you see what I mean. I think we should suggest or share our experience, that kind of thing. But definitely don't take it as advice. Again, GP, mental health professionals for that. But what sort of things do you have that help you if you're feeling a bit like, I'm not having a great time here? Help you turn that around.
Well, for me, it was writing things down. When I was struggling, I wrote down in my little journal. So if you were having a good day, or you're starting to feel like you're having a bit of a bad day, I could read back and go, actually, I was feeling a really bad day. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm only feeling this.
No, okay.
So you take the negative and turn it into a positive. So it's like, it could be worse. I was this like 2 days ago, but I'm feeling like this now. Okay, it's not positive, but it's not like I was. So it's like that's turning it around on itself, being a positive from a negative. Talking was also a big thing for me. Struggling, like I said, I reached out to, like I say, Samaritans. Life works through our store, or our company. Through mental health, and again contacting, like I say, GPs when you felt, not necessarily when you felt ready, but when you realise you really need help. That's always something I would say. That's definitely something I'd do. Is if you're struggling really bad, talk to, like, if you don't feel like you can talk to someone, write it down.
Yeah.
If you can't write it down, just put it in your phone. Just do a rant on your phone. You can always delete it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ever post anything on social media.
Yeah.
Don't look at social media when you're feeling really down. Say there's pages on there, obviously, for depression and all that lot, which is great for if you want to read about, like people's help, and all that lot. But there's also pages out there which don't exactly help you and make you feel worse.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you've got like these depression quotes like, oh, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Don't read into them too much. Just like say, if you can't talk, write it down. If you feel like you can't talk to anyone, talk to like the person you can trust the most, whether that be your partner, your best friend. It could just be like say a counsellor or a doctor. As long as you know that you feel confident in talking to them about it, and you feel confident they're not going to say out. They could just be like there to vent, but listening as well. From obviously two sides to a conversation. If I'm saying I'm feeling down, this and the other person's listening, and then you've got to listen to what they've got to, like a rebuttal. You've got to listen to what they have to say and hear it from their side of their kind of perspective, and go, you might be feeling down, and because you're feeling down, it's making me feel a bit sad because I want to make sure you're okay. And that's not always a good thing to hear, like you're making me feel bad, because then you feel worse because you made them feel bad. But
yeah, sure.
You want, if they should hopefully understand that you're feeling bad, and they shouldn't hopefully use that language around you. They should just be like, we're here to help you, we're here to have an open ear. Anytime, you're more than welcome to come down for a cup of tea, chat, fag, a beer, or whatever. Just to deal with it, I
guess the and I've always disagreed with that. You're making me feel bad, kind of thing. But I guess if that's done correctly, it is kind of motivation. For you to get help, and sure.
You don't really want to make anyone else feel bad because you're feeling down, or
yeah, great. Well, I said I didn't like advice, as it were, but actually there was a few good pieces of advice there, definitely. One being avoid social media.
Yes.
If you're feeling in that bad place, I think that's definitely
a
good tip.
Best thing I would suggest, if you're feeling that bad, just ring Samaritans, or someone who's going to be confidential. Someone that you don't know who's on the other end of that phone, but Samaritans are there. They are trained to help people. And I would recommend that.
And also, if at any point you don't feel like speaking to someone, write it down. I think that's a good.
If you feel really bad and you don't want to read it, you can always burn it.
Actually thinking about it, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but if you do have to wait 8 months for a counsellor, that's probably a good bit of a document for you to have to say, I'm not feeling too bad now, but this is how I did feel at the time, and how potentially I could feel again. Sort of thing. So that's definitely good.
And if you feel like you really don't want to read it again, or you feel like you're in a really good spot and you don't want to read that book or anything, there's nothing wrong with bonfire.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Yeah.
Burn those nasty feelings away. Make you feel a lot better.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Great. Thank you, Michael.
No worries.
We will put links to some of the things we've discussed below. Samaritans and what below.
Just out here.
Pretend space. And thanks for watching, and hope it's helped. Even if it only helps one person, that's 100% success. So thanks a lot. See you later.